CNN anchor Anderson Cooper is currently in Tacloban City, Philippines for a special coverage of Super Typhoon Yolanda's aftermath. In one of his report, the world-renowned journalist noted, "You would expect perhaps to see a feeding center that had been set up 5 days after the storm. We haven't seen that, certainly not in this area. Some food is being brought to people here at the airport, some water being distributed, but these are very, very difficult conditions for the people here on the ground, and it's not clear how much longer it can continue like this. Something's got to give."
The president of the Philippines has also counseled foreign journalists that they should be accurate in their reports, and we certainly appreciate that counsel. Accuracy is what we strive for. I read in the paper today, it's the first time I've been able to read the news, the president also said in a speech that the media should use our role to uplift the spirits of the Filipino people, to find stories of resilience, of hope, of faith, and show the world how strong the Filipino people are. I would actually say that all week long, in every report we have done, we have shown how strong the Filipino people are. The Filipino people, the people of Tacloban and Samar and Cebu and all these places where so many have died, they are strong not just to have survived this storm, but they are strong to have survived the aftermath of this storm. They have survived for a week now, often with very little food, with very little water, with very little medical attention. Can you imagine the strength it takes to be living in a shack, to be sleeping on the streets next to the body of your dead children? Can you imagine that strength? I can't. And I've seen that strength day in and day out here in the Philippines. As for who exactly is in charge of the Philippine side of this operation, that is not really clear. I mean, I'm just surprised that I expected it on this day 5. I thought I had maybe gotten here very late, that things would be well in hand. It does not seem like that. People are desperate. People do not have any place for shelter. It is very difficult for people to get food. Neighbors are helping out neighbors. Water is in short supply. It is a very, very bad situation here.
Our own Anderson Cooper, host of AC 360's On the Ground in Tacloban. He joins us now. Anderson, you've seen firsthand the difficulties in getting this relief out. Tell us what you're seeing.
It is a miserable situation here, and it does not seem to be getting better day by day. We're now entering the 5th day since the storm hit here in Tacloban. And I can tell you we're at the airport now, or what's left of the airport. There are hundreds of people here who've been sitting all night, they have nowhere else to go. And if you walk 3 blocks in that direction, you'll find people sleeping in makeshift huts, basically, or sleeping out in the exposed rain close to the bodies of their loved ones, which nobody has picked up because there's nobody here to pick them up. You would expect perhaps to see maybe a feeding center that had been set up about 5 days after the storm. We haven't seen that, certainly not in this area. Some food is being brought to people here at the airport, some water being distributed, but it is very, very difficult conditions for the people here on the ground, and it's not clear how much longer it can continue like this. Something has got to give.
According to officials there, the death toll now tops 3,600 and counting. More than 1,000 are still missing. The government estimates that 2 million people are in desperate need of food. 2 million. And despite the obstacles and the clear difficulties the government is having in getting relief to those who desperately need it, some in the Philippine media would rather focus on the government's image. A radio host in the Philippines, who just happens to be married to the country's interior secretary, accused our own Anderson Cooper of coming on the lead and claiming he saw no presence of the Philippine government on the ground in Tacloban. Only problem is Anderson never said that. Anderson Cooper joins us now live from the Philippine capital, Manila. Anderson, welcome. Good to see you. On Tuesday, you described to me the crowded scene at the crippled Tacloban Airport survivors huddle there. You expressed surprise that the government hadn't gotten a better handle on the situation, but you never said that there was no Philippine government presence on the ground. What's your reaction to this bizarre and inaccurate attack? Why do you think she said that?
I'm not really clear. I don't know who this person is. I mean, I know she's the wife of the, the interior minister, who I guess also was under the impression that I said this because he came looking for me when I was on the ground in Tacloban. But I don't really know. I mean, she's some sort of a radio host or something, and this is what she said. Obviously, having been on the ground there, we were reporting what we were seeing, and of course, there's plenty of Philippine military and police presence at the airport and at roadblocks. One of the things I was saying is that out in the field, even half a block away or half a mile away from the airport, where people's bodies are laying out, where families are searching for their lost loved ones, they have seen no help. And mothers who are searching for their dead kids have gotten no help in that search from rescue workers, according to all the mothers I've been talking to who are there. And I've been going back day after day after day to check in on if they've been getting any assistance to try to search for their lost children. So I was saying that in Japan, we saw military soldiers, national defense soldiers, the day after the tsunami, going block by block systematically and just walking through the wreckage looking for bodies or anybody who may be alive. I think politics are involved with this. I think, the federal government is concerned about criticism they might be getting. Local authorities are pointing fingers at the federal government. Federal government is pointing fingers at local authorities. The bottom line, the only thing that matters, this is all just kind of a bizarre sideshow. The only thing that matters is what's happening on the ground, and is aid getting to people who need it most. And clearly there have been big delays, big lack of organization on the part of the Philippine government on the ground there. That is starting to get better. There's starting to be more food distribution by the World Food Program and others, but it's certainly been far too long. And time is the enemy of people when you're desperate for water and desperate for food and medical attention.
And Anderson, regardless of what their government may or may not be doing, you've seen some incredible resilience from the people of the Philippines. Tell us about that.